Hello, and welcome to Geek Devotions, the show from devoted geeks who are devoted to letting you know that you are loved. I'm Lindsay from Beneath the Tangles. It's Anime April here at Geek Devotions, and Dallas and Celeste have asked me to bring a devotion for you devoted geeks. There are so many things that you could say about God, but one of my favorite aspects of God is how fiercely devoted and fiercely loyal He is to us, how He is willing to overcome any obstacle to bring us back into His family. And today, we're going to explore that topic through the eyes of David in Psalm 40 and through the eyes of the Straw Hat Pirates in One Piece. And we're going to see how having a fiercely devoted captain can change our lives and the lives of others, if only we'll get on board. One Piece is one of the greatest animes of all time. It follows the adventures of Luffy, a young man who wants to become the Pirate King. It follows his adventure as he gathers a crew and tries to fulfill his dream. What I love most about this anime is as you journey with these characters, you get to grow with them as they overcome obstacles personally and also together in friendship. And today, we're going to talk about 3 of those relationships with Luffy and his crewmates and what they had to overcome apart and together, and how that relates to us and our relationship with God. First relationship we're going to talk about is between Nico Robin, my favorite character of One Piece, and Luffy. Nico Robin is the crew's archaeologist as well as one of their strong fighters, but her backstory is really sad. At 8 years old, her parents uncovered some government secrets, so the government killed her parents in front of her and tried to kill her too. She managed to escape, but her entire life she's been on the run from the government, with the government putting out the message to the world that she is dangerous, she is deadly, she doesn't deserve to live. So her entire life she's been bombarded with these messages. I kill everything I touch. I'm worthless. I shouldn't even be alive. So she's built up this wall. So even when she joins the Straw Hats, she doesn't get super close. She's not super open. But as she journeys with them, she begins to realize that for the first time in her life, she feels like she has a family. And she begins to really grow to care for them. So at one point in the series, the government finds out where she is, and they send some of their super spies to basically approach her and bring her in. And when they get there, they basically give her the option: you can come with us quietly, or if you don't, your crew's blood is on your hands. Robin, feeling like she has family for the first time in her life, goes quietly and doesn't even tell the Straw Hats what's going on. When Luffy realizes this, he immediately goes after her, and he's like, no, she's one of my friends, she's one of my crewmates, this is not going to happen. So Luffy and the rest of his crew literally fight hundreds of people into this fortress. They break through the fortress trying to rescue Robin, and at one point, Luffy gets to her and says, let us save you. And she basically tells them, go away, I don't want any help. But Luffy keeps pressing and keeps pursuing. The fighting continues, and then we get to this beautiful scene where Luffy's there with his entire crew ready to save her. He shoots the flag of the world government, basically saying, I will fight the entire world to get you back. But he leaves Robin with a choice. And he says, you have to tell me that you want to live. And then we see Robin struggling with this, and she's kind of talking to herself, and she's like, I'm worthless, I'm unworthy, I don't even deserve to live. Can I say that I want to? Can I let this secret out? Is it safe? And finally, with tears streaming down her eyes, she trusts Luffy and she says, I want to live, take me to sea with you. And then Luffy, being the fierce, loving, devoted, powerful captain he is, basically defeats everyone in the fortress, escapes with Robin and his crew, and they continue on their journey. The next relationship we're going to talk about is between Luffy and his crewmate Usopp. Usopp was the crewmate that was responsible for getting the ship of the Straw Hats, the Going Merry. His friend gifted it to them, and they went on so many adventures with the Going Merry, but eventually the ship breaks down. It's too battered, it's too broken, it can't be fixed, so Luffy comes and announces to his crew, we're getting a new ship. Usopp did not have it, and he was not happy. And in his pride, he says basically he doesn't need Luffy, he doesn't need the Straw Hats anymore, he's going to go his own way, it never mattered, and he challenges Luffy to a duel after leaving the crew. So we have this heartbreaking fight scene where Usopp gets beaten, but you have 2 people who were committed to each other fighting. And it's just this heartbreaking scene where he leaves. Some episodes go by as the story progresses, and the island where they were all on, the Straw Hats get ready to leave. Usopp realizes at this point that he was wrong and he wants to go back, but he he doesn't want to have to man up and apologize. He doesn't really know how to say it, so he starts practicing, but he's not sure what to do. Luffy, on the other hand, he wants to bring Usopp back in, but his crew is like, no. He needs to respect you and he needs to be the first to apologize. So we have this scene where the Straw Hats on their new ship are going away from the island, and you really think that it's just the end. And everyone's just disappointed. There's tears in their eyes, like they're leaving without Usopp. And then at the last minute, Usopp comes to the shore and he cries out, "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was prideful. I wish I could take it back, but I can't, so please forgive me." And instantly, Luffy, with his long rubber arms, reaches all the way to the shore, pulls Usopp back in, and it's this reunion full of happy tears for everyone. The last relationship we're going to talk about is between Luffy and his crewmate Sanji. Sanji is the cook of the ship, and his lifelong dream is just to cook, to find the deep blue where all of the oceans come together and you have the best fish and the best ingredients. And this is his lifelong dream. At one point in the series, Sanji is kidnapped by one of the powerful pirates, and he has handcuffs that are put on him, and he's told if he leaves the island, his hands are going to explode because the handcuffs will explode. And Sanji feels trapped. His dream is in jeopardy. The reason he's there is because he's being used to blackmail his family, basically, so you have all these overwhelming family dynamics that are going on. And when Luffy hears that he's kidnapped, being the fierce, loving, loyal captain that he is, he goes after Sanji. And he shows up to Whole Cake Island and he goes to Sanji and he's like, "We're here to rescue you." And Sanji doesn't want to include Luffy and he tries to deal with it on his own. So he talks down to Luffy, tells him that he's basically a no-class pirate, that he doesn't believe he can ever be the Pirate King, and they get into a fight where Sanji beats the crap out of Luffy and Luffy refuses to fight him. Sanji leaves. And Luffy says, "I'm not eating or going anywhere until you come back because you are my cook and we are not going to continue this adventure without you." Sanji leaves with tears in his eyes, and the series goes on for a little bit and there's lots of battling happen. Luffy is getting incredibly tired, incredibly worn out because he still hasn't eaten because Sanji hasn't cooked him anything. And it just looks hopeless for both of them. But finally, Sanji shows up. He comes to Luffy. He helps, and then he breaks down and he basically says, "I'm overwhelmed. Luffy, I need your help. I can't handle all of these things on my own." And immediately Luffy is just like, "I gotcha. Let's go and crash the wedding." When we look at all three of these stories, what we see is people who were scared. They had messed up or circumstances had hurt them and they didn't want to go to Luffy. But the second they did, he forgave them, he accepted them, he loved them, he helped them, he brought them in. And that is exactly what God does for us. If we turn to him, he is there. But we have to go. And this is not just in one piece, this is also seen in Psalm 40. Psalm 40 verses 2 and 3 says, "He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see and fear the Lord and put their trust in him." This is one of my favorite psalms in all of Scripture because it is such a celebration of the journey God gives us, of looking back and seeing how we were in a pit. He brought us out, put us on firm ground. He gave us a new life, a new story, a new song. And then others were drawn to him because of it. And when we look back at all the relationships we've just explored with Robin, with Usopp, with Sanji, and how Luffy changed all of their lives, we see this happening. They were in a pit and they were brought out. They were put on stronger, firmer ground. They were given a new song to sing about. And because of that, Luffy's reputation went up. Not just because he fought battles, but because he fought for his friends and the world saw how strong he was. And with us, as we get on board with God, as we invite him into our life, this is what happens. Not only are we impacted, but others are as well because they see our changed life and we're able to give glory to the one who changed it. So my encouragement to you today, no matter what season you're in, whether it's a season of oppression like Robin, a season of just feeling like you are so worthless, whether it's a season like Usopp where you have messed up, you knew that you did wrong and you feel ashamed and you feel guilty, Or a season like Sanji, where you are so overwhelmed with all the problems of life and you're trying to do it on your own, but you've just reached the end of your rope and you realize you can't. My encouragement to you is to cry out to God, invite him in, ask him to come and help, to come and save you. He is waiting there, just like Luffy, with open arms, so ready to help. But he's going to let you come to him, and he's going to ask you the question, just like Robin, do you want to? He's going to wait for you like Usopp to come to him and apologize. And just like Sanji, he is there that the second you ask, he's on board and ready to help. So my encouragement is to cry out, to draw close, and then let God change your life and see how that also changes the lives of others. For more content about God's love, just follow Geek Devotions on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search Geek Devotions. And follow Beneath the Tangles for anime-related content and Christianity. We're on all the same platforms, as well as Mastodon and our Tanglecast podcast. Until next time, stay devoted and peace and love.